Closed captioning is brought to you by Insect Defend Patch. Deep-free protection from biting insects.
You know, we've been having a lot of fun here on the Humber River in Newfoundland, fishing for Atlantic salmon, but it got a little bit windy out on the main river, so we thought we'd come in here. This is a small brook. You can see how tiny it is, and we put on smaller bugs, or bomber flies. They're a deer hair dry fly that looks like a little bug, and we're just working them on the surface to try to catch some brook trout. Now, the brook trout we're after are no trophies. They're anywhere from about 7 to 12 inches long, but they're actually perfect to pan fry. So the way you have them here in Newfoundland, and they're very common in a lot of the smaller ponds, and a lot of the ponds are actually beaver ponds on brooks like this, where beavers dam up the water, and then you get a small lake formed, and the brookies really thrive there. So I'm going to show you one. I'm watching my bug that's out there. I'm just going to get them wet, because this is the first one. Barb just got it. And these fish will actually school up. So look, this is no trophy, but this is actually perfect eating size, anywhere from about 7 to 12 inches. See that nice little brook trout? You know, brook trout is part of the char family, and the same other fish that are in the same family are Arctic char and lake trout. So you can see they've got the nice white marks on the fins, and the red spots with the halos, nice orange on the belly with a little bit of red on the bottom, and then the vermiculations. These are pretty dark because you can see the water is clear, but it's got like a color to it, like a stain. So that one is the length of my hand. It's probably about 7-8 inches, and it's probably the smallest one that we would keep for eating. So I'm going to keep it in the net. So we're trying to get about 10 or 15 of these. So between us, we can have a nice snack tonight before we have our main dinner. Look at these handy little tools that I'm holding up here. You know, one of the reasons why fly fishermen have a lot of pockets, and in my case I have a belt, most guys wear a vest. You have all kinds of boxes like this. In a moment I'm going to show you the flies we've been using, but you also have little accessories, tools, leader spools, and so on, a lot of small stuff. Now what I'm holding here are 3 really important tools. The first one I'm going to talk about is my line clippers, and this particular one also has a little needle at the back, so that you can punch the front of the fly in case whoever tied the fly filled it with lacquer, so that you don't have to use another hook, okay? So that's almost like a pin front. Then of course this is to trim your knots, when you're trimming your knots. The scissors are there if you have to cut some larger things. And then this file is extremely important. A lot of times when you're fly fishing coastal rivers, whether it's in Newfoundland or even in Western Canada, if you're fishing especially from shore where there's a lot of rocks and boulders, in your back cast you can clip rocks. Or sometimes you can clip rocks that are in shallow water, even when you're using a floating line. It's very important that you check the sharpness of your hook every once in a while and simply use a little file like this or a stone to touch it up. Now let's talk a little bit about the flies that we've been using, because very specific flies work well here on the Humber River. Probably the most popular fly when it comes to fishing for Atlantic salmon are wet flies, and I'm going to hold one that has produced really nice fish here. This is called a blue charm. Now a blue charm will come in different colors. Usually there's a little bit of a blue throat, has a black body with tinsel, and then it has a wing. The wing can be light or dark. The blue can be in all different sizes. So there's no such thing as one blue charm. So they're all custom done. And here, when you come to the Backlands Lodge, they actually have the flies all tied up. So you can purchase the flies that you want to use right from the lodge. The other flies that are very popular are called bugs or bombers. And that's what I'm holding up right here. To me, they almost look like a caterpillar. And again, these are custom tied. You can see that these have a very unique shape. The head is much bigger than the rest of the body. And that head is almost like a popper. So when it's going down the current and you're fishing it below you, and in Atlantic salmon fishing, most of the time you're letting the current present your fly in front of the fish. This will help to keep it buoyant. And when a fish comes up, probably the most exciting part of fishing for Atlantic salmon, you actually see the salmon come up, take the fly, you set the hook, and then you hold on, of course. So all these flies that you see in my box here were tied for the Backlands Lodge. So you could, if you come here, bring your own flies, but also you're secured that you can actually purchase the right flies that have been tried and proven on the river, and that way you'll catch a lot of fish. You know, this is so nice. We thought we'd come out here just before dinner for a little bit to see if we could get a salmon or a trout. And we just anchored. Barb, you ready to net this guy?
Sure.
Looks like a nice brook trout.
Beautiful.
You know, earlier, if you want to bring it in over the side, Barb, earlier we were fishing in the brook just down from the camp, getting eating-sized fish. Good net job, Barb.
Thank you.
It's going to hold this guy up.
Yep.
So these are so plentiful in the Humber River and throughout Newfoundland. I'm just going to let them calm down a little bit before I talk about them. And most people will catch these pretty well just for eating. So I don't know if he's going to settle down there. You know, the ones we were getting in the brook were anywhere from about, I'd say 5 inches up to about 8, 9. So this guy's a little bit bigger, but look at the colors. I'm going to try to just put my finger on his lower jaw. Look at how dark he is. Isn't that a pretty brook trout? This is perfect eating size.
Nice
So
colors.
it's going to complement some of the little guys that we caught earlier.